Hey guys, Lori here. I'm here today for another day of BookMas. You are seeing this in early January. I hope you guys had a great New Year's and I hope you guys are steadily starting to make progress on your reading goals. One of my major goals for 2020 is to wrap up some of the series that I'm either like in the middle of and the series have completed, or that I'm in the middle of and I'm just fallen really far behind on my books. So once I accomplish those, I'm going to have a few more series that I can begin. So here are the the 10 series that I would like to start in 2020. Ideally, I would love to finish them in 2020 if I can. A lot of these are long. Like the first book that has at least 14 books in this series, and that is the Wing of Fire series. This series is massive, but unlike the Keeper of the Lost City series, the books are a lot shorter. So I really hope that I like it. I'm just gonna read you guys the summary because it just seems like something that's right up my alley. Let's see if I can find the first book. Yes. Um, there's at least 11 to 13 books in this series, but a thrilling new series soars above the competition and redefines middle grade fantasy fiction for a new generation. The seven dragon tribes have been at war for generations, locked in an endless battle over an ancient lost treasure. A secret movement called the Talons of Peace is determined to bring an end to the fighting with the help of a prophecy, a foretelling that calls for great sacrifice. Five dragonets are collected to fulfill the prophecy, raised in a hidden cave, and enlisted against their will to end the terrible war. Not every dragonet wants a destiny, but when the select five escape their underground captors to look for their original home, what has been unleashed on the dragon world may be far more than the revolutionary planners intended. That sounds really cool and really interesting, and I love books where dragons are like characters. I've been reading a lot of like books in the YA genre that have dragons as like animals, but I'm wondering how this is gonna go. So I'm curious. I at least have the first book, and I know that a lot of them are at my local library. So once I finish Keeper of the Lost Cities, which I should do in early 2020, this will probably be my next middle grade series that I'm going to tackle. The next series that I'm going to chat about is the Archived series by Victoria Schwab. I talked about this in one of my videos, how I have a lot of library themed books on my shelves that I don't read, but they're like library inspired. Like I have a couple of different ones, but this one is one that I've really wanted to read, and it's only two books, so it means it could be a quick read. I know that they eventually want to come out with a third book, but the summary that was pitched to me is there's a society where that contains the bodies of everyone who has ever died, and that's called the archive. But when the archive is compromised from within, 16-year-old Mackenzie Bishop must use her skills as a keeper to identify the traitor and prevent the violent histories from escaping into our world. Sounds awesome. Sounds great. I really do like Victoria Schwab's writing. I really like her middle grade series. And I have to. She's one of my authors that I do need to catch up on because there's a bunch of series I'm in the middle of. Like I need to catch up on the Dark Duet series. I need to finish the Darker Shades of Magic series, but this was one series that it seemed like I could easily accomplish in a year because it's only two books, so that is why I put The Archived on this list. The next series that I'm going to chat about is a goal that I've had for a while, and I want to read the I think it's called the Demon King series, but it's like two series. I don't know much about it. I know that it's by Cinda Williams Chima. I know that it's a big epic fantasy series that's basically like two series connected. I know Reagan loves them. I really loved her previous series that I read, the Warrior Era series that I read like 2 years ago. And I've literally just have collected these books. So I really just want to read them and finally be caught up to date on her canon. Actually, she's one of my author goals that I want to be catch up on her canon by the end of this year. So I figured if I added the Demon King to as many lists as possible, it would be more likely to get read. So that is why the Demon King series, that's not the name of the series, but that's the first book, is on this series list. Another series that I want to start is the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. Earlier this year, I wound up reading Aurora Rising, which also takes place at like a flight school, and I also read Dragon Pearl earlier this year that took place at a flight school, and I really like that setting. This is a book that takes place at a flight school, and it sounds really cool. I know Haley from Bookland loves it. I know Reagan really liked it. So I actually bought it when I was in Virginia with my cousin, and I know that the second book recently came out. So this is another series that I would love to catch up on. I really do want to read a lot of Brandon Sanderson's books eventually. They're just so massive. So I figure I would start with his smaller series and see if I liked it before I dive into his adult novels, which will be a massive undertaking for sure. The next book series I'm going to chat about is only one book's out, but I think the book two is coming out quickly, and that is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. Last year, through the Time Warp YA Book Club, we did read the Grishaverse, and I love Nikolai as a character. And I bought the book, and I just never get around to reading it. So I do need to read it. That is why I added it to this list. Again, only one book's out, so it's going to be easy to catch up on. And I really do love him as a character, and I really just want to see what's happening and what goes on. I've heard a little bit of mixed things about that novel, but I'm willing to give anything a chance, so I'm really excited, and hopefully he's just as charming in that book as he was in the Grishaverse, because he definitely was one of my favorite characters for that read, like, of that character for the whole entire series, so really hope that I get around to reading King of Scars soon. The next series that I'm going to chat about in this video is, I don't know the name of this series, but the first book is The Bone Season, and it's by Samantha Shannon. Series that I've had on my TBR for a while, and I'm just going to read you guys the abridged summary on Amazon because it basically sums it up in easy to follow ways. It says a New York Times bestselling first novel in the Bone Season series, an epic fantasy about a young woman fighting to use her powers and stay alive in England, entirely different from our own. I think this book has like clairvoyance, but that power is like illegal, and I think this girl is a clairvoyant, and she kind of has to navigate having these powers in a world where people don't want you to have these powers. Again, it's like a 3-book series. I think the 4th book's coming out soon. So hopefully I like it whenever I get around to reading it. And this is actually an adult series from what I remember. And the next book series I'm going to chat about is the Tide series by Holly Black. I recently finished the Holly Black series, like the Queen of Nothing series, the Folk of that series, and I've heard that there is like subtle connections between these two series, and they're actually set in the same world. I've heard really mixed things about these series, so I actually have two physical. I have a big physical copy of it, and then I have my little copies that I got for Christmas a couple years ago. I would like to like read this series and then reread the Cruel Prince series next year, so it's my goal. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, but I'm definitely going to take you guys along for the journey, but it is definitely on this list for that reason. I know Alexa loves books, and Super Space Chick had some really mixed thoughts about it, but I'm willing to give it a chance, and if I don't like it, I just will not read them. But I would like to at least have the knowledge that connects the two series together, so I will probably wind up finishing it. We will see, but it is on this list for that reason. Series I'm going to chat about in this video is the Circle Open series by Tamora Pierce. I really loved her Tortol series that I read a while ago, and I actually did read the first set of books in the series, but I never got around to reading past it, and it's like 2 more series, and I just really want to keep reading, and I started reading the first book in the series, and I got a little bit distracted, which is so unfortunate because it's like literally 300 pages. So I'm definitely going to add this to my 2020 TBR, and I might actually finish it in 2019. I have a readathon coming up, so I might actually wind up reading it then because it's a super short read. It just wasn't the book I wanted to read when I picked it up. But that is why this book series is on the list, and hopefully, like Cinda Williams Chima, I will have completed this author's backlist by the time 2020 ends. We will see. That's the hope anyway. The next book series I'm going to chat about in this video is the Tale of Magic series by Chris Colfer. I have long loved Chris Colfer's Land of Story series, and I actually am probably going to wind up getting the audiobook of this. Even though I did get a physical book from BEA, but I'm probably going to get the audiobook because I love hearing him tell me a story. Actually, the second I'm done with this, I'm going to go see how expensive it is. But it's just another magic-themed novel about this character. I think that there's a magic school involved. Sounds really interesting, totally up my alley. And if Chris Colfer reads it to me, I will probably listen to it in no time. but it sounds super cute, and I really hope we have more books in the series because I love when he reads me stories. He is such a great narrator. If you have not checked out his previous series, definitely do that, but this series is one that's high on my list for 2020. The last series I'm going to chat about in this video is the Sight series by Neil Shusterman. I have talked about this book in a couple of other videos, so I'm not going to get too in depth in the detail, but it basically is a dystopian novel where they have found a way to, like, you don't have to die, but there are these sites that basically end your life. And that is what the series is called, the Arc of the Sight series. It's a completed series. The book 3 just came out, and I really hope, some of my friends really enjoy this series. I don't read dystopian a lot, but when I do, I tend to get really addicted to, like, books like that. So I really hope that I like it. Let me know in the comments what are some series you hope to start in 2020. And I'll talk to you tomorrow for another day of BookMas. Guys, BookMas is almost over. I really hope you guys have been liking this content. I've really liked creating it. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for another video. Bye.